Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me on In Hindsight Talk Show with Myra McKnight. And I am so glad to continue these conversations I'm having with the ladies and the authors of the book, Dear God. It's so inspiring and so amazing, and it really touches your heart. And these women are talking about their relationships with their dads. And women of color have had this issue, but it's been kind of in the dark. It's been on the back burner. Most of the time, what we're talking about is how a man needs his dad. But I don't hear a lot about how women need their dads. And these women are going to tell you just how important it is to have their dads in their lives and what it does to them if they don't have that father in their lives. And what we do is we question why dad wasn't there. Why did you leave me? I'm a little girl. You were supposed to protect me and you didn't. And the fact that you can actually walk away can be devastating to a young girl. Moms don't particularly walk away from their children, but when dads are able to do that, that really says something. And what happens is it does something to them as well as to the relationships that they are trying to foster as they get older. So without further ado, I am going to introduce Vanessa Canteberry, who is the brainchild of this amazing, amazing book. And God has given her something that is going to catch on fire because we want to keep this conversation going. And I want to thank you, Vanessa, for being a part of In Hindsight Talk Show today. How are you?
I am well. I am well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. And I thank you for accepting my invitation to come on and talk about such a very delicate at times, but a conversation needs to be talked about. We try to aspire to something that's good, something good to talk about. This is something good to talk about because you get women who don't want to talk about it because they can't. And also they don't talk about it because they feel like they're isolated. They're the only ones. You know, it's just my dad who left. You know, it's just my dad who wasn't with me. It's just my dad who paid no attention to me. But there's a lot of Black women who feel this way. A lot of women across the world, but particularly in our community, there's a lot. So tell me, where did this come from, Vanessa? Where did the inspiration of this come from with you? Dear Dad.
Wow. First of all, I want to thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to share this topic that needs to be talked about.
Yes.
So I am forever grateful for that. So thank you so much, Myra.
You're welcome. Thank you.
This vision came about. It was really interesting because I had just finished out a previous anthology, and then next thing you know, I just kept getting the visions of Dear Dad, Dear Dad. I said, hold on, Lord, wait a minute now. Hold on. One anthology. You didn't say anything else about another one. And so being obedient and doing what you are called to do is is a struggle sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And so I turned around and I said, you know what, let me just put it out there and just see what happens. And I did. I put it out there, and so many ladies had jumped aboard and said, you know what, I have a story about my dad. And my thing is, the ultimate goal was for it to be something that you need to be transparent.
Yeah.
And not the surface stuff. I need you to really be transparent because this book is going to be able to help and heal so many people. And so that was one of the main requirements, right? And so that also, I was speaking to myself because I don't have the best of the relationship with my own father, but at the same time, I don't have a relationship with neither one of my parents, and both of them are living. So this was like, you're really putting yourself out there. Yes, I am, because I learned how to forgive them. I learned their history, but at the same time, how many more people were suffering in silence and haven't reached a point like I did to be able to say, you know what, I don't have a relationship with him, and I don't have a relationship at all. But at the same time, these are the things that have happened that allow me to be able to become the woman that I am. But at the same time, it was a struggle, and it could have been way better if you was involved.
Yeah, definitely.
And that was important. And so when I wrote my chapter in the book, it was like, wow, you really come a long way, Vanessa. You really come a long way. And I was like, I was even blown away myself. I have to be honest. I was really blown away because I never really talked about it. But, you know, again, how many little girls are still trapped in an adult body need to talk about these things.
Yeah,
and that was the main thing about Dear Dad.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a big deal because mostly we talk about mom and mom not being around, but dad's being around really makes a big difference, because when it doesn't, it affects how we treat men going forward and how we feel about them going forward. And that can be a little difficult. And you become this trapped inside you, and you really don't know or you don't have the answers to all the questions that you have. And there's nobody to give you those answers, because even if, even if our dads would tell us about what's going on, there still is not enough explanation as to why you're not there. There's not enough explanation as to why you left, why you're not there. Why did you choose another family over me? All of these questions start to come in, but then they begin to be parallel of having a relationship, an intimate, cohesive relationship with a male. So tell me a little bit about the book and where you come from with it. Your goal to inspire women and encourage women is to how do they start to get out of this space when they're feeling as though dad is just not there.
One thing you have to do is, I had to understand, is you don't blame yourself. Don't beat yourself up because this is a decision that he decided to make. And then at the same time, you have to understand that men is so vital with me. And this is why I learned this with the way I see my mom raise my brothers and the way that I seen how I raised my son. It was two different things. Too often our mothers, they look at their sons, and it's a beautiful relationship, right? Because usually our sons gravitate to the mothers and the daughters gravitate to the fathers. But then our mothers be able to put our sons in a place where this is your husband and not your son. You know what I mean? And when you put them in that place, you really didn't provide them the tools of the softer side of the woman, how to be able to, understand that the way you love me and the way that I love you and the way that you protect me, you got to be able to understand you're going to have to protect that next woman, that woman that could be your potential wife, that woman that could be able to birth your child. You have to protect her the same way that you do me. And I seen the difference. And I was like, wow. But then at the same time, I got a chance to learn the history of my father. That if you come from a controlling relationship, an abusive relationship, you tend to pick that up as well and take that into your relationship. So then now when it's time for you, when you having these children, you take that same abuse into the relationship. You take this power struggle. You're not really teaching and molding your children. You basically have this control mechanism. And now you have the way to say, I could do what I want to do. You can walk away when you want to walk away. But then what are you really teaching your children? How are you teaching your daughters how a man's supposed to treat them? How are you teaching your sons how to treat a woman? So I have learned both sides of it, and I had to take the good and I had to take the bad, because what I turned around and I picked up from my father is how to date men just like him. I got an abusive relationship and had children by an abusive man, but at the same time, I was strong enough to walk away. But even though I was strong to walk away, I still have these battle scars on me because you choose not to stay. You choose not to show me how a man's supposed to treat and love me. I repeated the exact same thing that you experienced in your upbringing, and then I turned around and put it in my own. So I had to take a step back to say, wait a minute, hold on. When is this going to stop? Who is going to stop it? And I couldn't look at my parents anymore because now I'm grown. I had to look at myself. How can I be able to look and say, wait a minute, hold on. I can't keep going down this path, because I carried the bitterness of my father for a long time of, how do you have 3 kids by my mom? You married this woman, but then you never picked me up like you picked up my brothers. And then I had to look at it. Well, you protected me because you know that you was a violent person, but at the same time, I still see that side of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How you would talk to my mother, how you would interact with my brothers when you didn't get your way, whatever the case may be. I picked up those habits, and now that's all I attracted.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
So it was a battle struggle, but at the same time, I don't want you to be battling with me, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to battle with you, and I don't want to have to battle with my children. So I had to make sure that I do my own soul searching for me to get the healing that I need. Mm-hmm. And that's why my chapter is called Inner Peace, because I had to do the work. I had to put the work in for me, so I don't continue down, looking at my son and being this bitter mom. And now here I am doing the same thing to my own children. I have 3 of my own. So that means I will repeat the same cycle. I didn't want to repeat the same cycle. So I had to do my work on me, because I couldn't get the answers from them.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And that was hard. That was tough, because you just try to navigate your way through life without a map, without a GPS, nothing.
Sure.
And so I was like, wait a minute, there's got to be a better way. So I had to learn, there's a power of prayer. And once I learned the power of prayer and to be able to be obedient to the point of just saying, I'm willing to be broken in order for me to be a blessing, not only to myself, but to somebody else. I'm not going to pick and choose what I want to be broken from. I'm not going to pick and choose what I want to be blessed with. I just want to be stripped away all the way to the bare bones, so I can be able to find where's my identity in this.
Right.
I want to know my DNA. I want to become the best version of myself.
Right.
So I could be able to move forward and be a better mother, to be a better servant, to be a better something to somebody, to show them that there is a better way. And I'm blessed that I'm the first one in my family on both sides to break that generational curse in life and in business.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a blessing, and it's really a powerful testimony to where you've been and where where you've come from. And 2 things that you said, Vanessa, which is so true, is your identity, and mothers and fathers really don't realize that what they've taken your identity away. Just because it doesn't work out with you, just because you break up, and dad goes one way, mom goes another way, and then mom picks up somebody and dad pick up somebody. How can you not think that your child is wondering, where in the hell, who am I, where am I? And you have so many questions, and it just appears that a lot of times nobody wants to sit down and talk to you about them. It's kind of almost like, okay, you're here, you're alive, you're not bleeding, you know what I'm saying? You okay, you made it through. And a lot of times you haven't made it through. Just the outside shell looks okay and it looks fine, but the inside of you is kind of in turmoil, because you're not sure. And those are powerful words. What's my DNA? What's my identity? Who am I? Who is my tribe? Where am I to? Why aren't you a part of who I am? And that makes a big difference. Now, the relationship with you and your mom, or you and your mom, your dad and your mom still together?
No, they got divorced when I was 2 years old. So just imagine that turmoil that she carried, the turmoil that he carried. Somebody, when you want to ask questions, somebody's pointing a finger at that person, somebody pointing a finger at that person.
Right.
Like, really, like, I need you guys to understand that this is me. This is my life. This is my future. And it's vital right now. And the decisions that I'm making is the same decision that you guys made. But now you judging me and not really looking where it's coming from.
Right.
And so who's going to be able to sit down and say, let's have a conversation. Let's have this real conversation that is overdue, to be able to say, look, this is fixable. But we got to put our pride and our ego to the side of our own feelings about how we feel about each other. Because at the end of the day, we decided to lay down with each other. We decided to get married. We decided to produce a child. And so at the end of the day, she's here.
Yeah.
So who's going to be able to stop that?
Yeah.
And none of that would be able to happen. But how many homes is this happening in where nobody want to have that heart-to-heart conversation? They're too busy worrying about what she did. Okay, but what was your cause in this situation? Because you didn't have a choice. You had a choice to be able to say, look, I see the signs. I don't want no part of that man. I don't want no part of that woman.
Right.
Because when you have two broken parents that come together and produce a family, then you bringing in broken children into your environment, and nobody want to mend no fences of nothing. They want to point the finger, and then now you made messed up decisions. Oh, dang. How did you do that? Did you not learn from me? What did you really teach me?
Yeah.
What was the conversation at? You can't heal if you're not willing to have a conversation.
That's true. That's true. And to take some ownership as well.
Yes.
And you said, which is so important, is that those two people came together and created you. And that wasn't you. They didn't ask. You weren't around to be able to ask any questions. You didn't know anything about it. You didn't say, you know what, down the line, you all are not going to be together. And a lot of times what happens is couples do come together not thinking that, you know, you have this cute little baby, but there's a responsibility totally to this child that you brought in the world. And they're not thinking about that part. And then when they leave, and my biggest just what tears me up is the fact that a man can leave his daughter. Yeah. You know, let no need leave your children, but to leave your daughter. Yeah. And that's that because she has no protection whatsoever. And so too many things are able to happen.
The cycle continues because now I have children.
Yeah.
We're the grandparents in that picture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So somebody's going to wind up getting hurt along the way. But why do now the next generation have to hurt? Somebody have to put an end to the generation of this pain that I felt. And that was my biggest thing and my biggest prayer, that when I started this journey of me getting my life together to find my own identity, to be able to own my truth, I had to be able to say, you know what? There's got to be a better way. But at the same time, how, where, and when? Yeah. How can I get there?
Right.
Because you got to be willing to do the work.
Right. Absolutely. Now, do your children have a relationship with her? Okay. Wow.
No. It's sad, but at the same time, when my children look back and I when we talk about the stories, because when I started writing books, it's like more and more things came out, but I had a conversation with my children way before these books came out, you know. But then it was a red flag when the books came out, and now people want to know, oh, wait a minute. Oh, that is my granddaughter. Oh, that is my daughter. Oh, now you're proud of me. Now you want to have a relationship with me. Now you want to reach out to my children. But see, the thing that I've learned is family is the ones that stick it out. Good, bad, indifferent. The family is the one that you could be able to lean on. That's family. You know, and I've learned that I have found my children, we come together like there's no tomorrow. I'm blessed to say that when they're in prayer, when I said I want to be able to break this generational curse so my children don't feel the same pain and hurt that I experience, I'm blessed to say that me and my children have an amazing relationship. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. It's nowhere in comparison of the relationship that I have with my parents and the things that I experienced in my upbringing. Why? Because I did the work. Yeah. I knew there was something there, and I was willing to go back in the history to find out where did it start, because it just don't start with our parents. Yeah. It started before our parents. Yeah. And nobody wanted to be able to put a stop to it, because back then, and it's still to this day, what goes on in this house stays in this house. Yeah. And that's the worst thing ever, because what goes on in this house is killing me right now. Yeah. So we got to talk about these things. Yeah. You do have to crack that egg open and let it come out. I mean, it's not pretty. It's not exciting. But those are the things that really destroy the spirit of any man or woman, any boy or girl. It destroys the spirit going forward. It's an unfortunate thing that happens, but you know, we just have to that's what we're talking about. That you have to be in your space and know what your truth is, and keep going from that. And not allowing. You're breaking up, Myra. Okay. All right. Is it any better? Myra, you're breaking up. You're frozen.
Okay. Let me see if I can get back to where I need to be.
Hello?
Are you still there? Are you still there?
Myra.
Okay. Hold on.
Myra. I'm still here. You're breaking up and you're frozen.
Okay. 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 You there? Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Splice.
I see you.
See me.
Okay.
See me in just a second.
Okay.
Okay. There I am.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
I don't know
so it broke up real bad at the very last.
It cut off completely. I was like, wait a minute. That is not what I want to do.
The devil don't like to hear about this good stuff because we're talking about the stuff that people need to hear about. And so the devil got to come in and try to destroy something.
All the time.
God has already has
all
designed.
the time. All the time. All the time. But what I'm saying is it's every boy and girl needs to know where they come from.
Yes, they do.
You know, I think that it's incumbent upon the parents. I really do. That created this thing to have a sit down and say what you need to say. At least give that child some opportunity. I don't care if they're 90 years old. At least say, I wish I could have. I didn't do it right. You know, I don't want you to do it. At least take the ownership of what you've done to your partner. You know what I mean? To your child. You know, because you're affecting generations down. And that can be tragic for a lot of us as we grow older in life. And another thing is that, you know, you come across so many Black women that have this strong sense of, you know, you ain't do me wrong, I'm not gonna let you do this. And a lot of those things come from the what has happened in our relationships with our dads. Not being around or not being available is a big thing. And you find out that relationships are broken. You're not able to have relationships, and you're tough, and you're mean, and they say you're all these other things, but you're just protecting you. And what has happened is dad has already set that.
It's a tough situation.
Absolutely. It's a tough situation to be in. And then you're trying to figure it out. And unfortunately, you got to work it out.
You really do. And the sad thing, like I look at when I was, we was doing quotes. That's what it was. We was doing quotes throughout the whole time we was writing the books and promoting the book. One of the quotes that I thought of, I said, you know, one thing a man does not want to deal with. Mm-hmm. He does not want to go and deal with a woman. And he goes out into the world and he fight every day. But then kind of come home to the woman that he loves to fight with. Yeah. See, this is the thing. We as women, if we don't deal with the situations that we have battle with, we will turn around and we'll battle with the man that we say that we love, but we have yet to let go of those things that put us in this state of mind of always battling. Always, we don't always have to be combative. But the thing is, if we could just be able to deal with those things, and if that the father not being there, that is huge. It's huge because we don't know. We have no clue how that this man goes out every day to go and he got to fight against the world. He got to fight on a job, and then he got to come home and deal with the stuff because the mom is going back and forth. And so now, but it doesn't give him the right to still walk away. But see, don't make that an excuse to walk away. Right, absolutely. You know what I mean? Right. You need to be able to come and still be involved with this child to show them, yes, I'm going out here. I may be out there frying up on the pan. I got to fight with the people on the street to get to work, to make $1, to come home, to pay the bills, to take care of you guys, regardless of with your mother or not. Right. I'm here. Right. You know what I mean? I'm here. Right. And that's the most important thing that we got to know, that they go out there and fight. Yeah. But at the same time, don't come in and make it an excuse why you need to leave.
Yeah, there can be an excuse because you're leaving because of mom, not or you're not leaving
but
because
not the child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you have to
Don't
make
look
that
at
distinction
it.
there. Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
just not.
No,
And,
it's not.
and that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem.
Well,
And
what we find, what I find in my practice is everybody, the mom and the dad, is thinking about themselves.
they are selfish.
It's their emotions, it's their selfishness, it's them. And then the dad doesn't want to deal with the mom and the daughter and the kids because he goes into his own life and forgets all about you and creates a whole new family. And, you know, and that makes the child feel some kind of way. So you just go through a cycle of unnecessary heartbreak and emotions that you didn't ask for.
Very true.
You didn't ask for those. And still yet nobody wants to own up to what they did because you were created by the two of them. Yeah. And be it they didn't know, be it that you know, generations back they didn't know, but at some point you learn. So you kind of wonder, are you not saying it out of ego, or you don't want to remember, or you just want to let it stay dead? But it will never stay dead because there's going to be, now every child doesn't do this. Every child who doesn't have a father is not strong enough to deal with the fight and deal with the journey that it takes to heal themselves. Some stay in it. Some women become prostitutes. They become prostitutes, strippers, they become side chicks, they become, you know, gold diggers, they become all other things, you know. They become wives who take physical abuse and mental and emotional abuse, you know. They become all of those things instead of being able to stand up and say in their truth and say, I'm not going, no, we ain't having that. I am not having that. I am moving out of that. And it takes strength to do that, and it takes courage, but then you got some women who don't have that courage to do that.
That is so true. Because when I look at my mom and I looked at her history and I said, wow, I understand, even though I don't understand because I wasn't there, but I understand. But it's not okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're just not strong enough because something done happened to them that they still live in there. That's where they reside. Even though they here in current state of mind, they're really not current. They still back in the same old mindset and stuck in their ways of, I don't know how to get out of it. But now then you have this battle with your adult children. Yeah. So with my parents, it's interesting because neither one of my parents could face me head on. They can't face me head on. Because they feel like, you know, it's a blessing that I broke that generational curse, but at the same time, it's still a curse. Yeah. Because they feel that, so now you think that you're better than me to be able to move forward. So that's the battle that goes back and forth with both of my parents. I barely talk to either one of them because it's too much toxic energy. And so when I see that toxic energy and I still see you in that place, God bless you. I'm still praying for you. And I have to keep it moving because if I continue to give you my oxygen mask like I used to do, to be able to have a relationship with you, I go home to my kids where I'm not breathing. Yeah. And then what do I have to give them? Yeah. Yeah. It's not about you and it's not about me. I have 3 children, even though now they're young adults. At the end of the day, I have to make sure that I'm still breathing. Right. For them. So, yeah, I have to. I have to. Yeah, that's so, and you're going to have to make those tough decisions because, yes, you want your parents around. Yes, you want your dad to be there. I want to be daddy's little girl. Yes, you want those things. I want my daddy to walk me down the aisle. I love to have those things happen. But if it's not healthy and you moving forward with your life, you're going to have to make those tough decisions. They made a decision that was best for them. You have to make a decision that's going to be best for your next generation.
That's powerful. And that's true. And those are the consequences of what, you know, what a man and a woman does when they create children and they stay in a position of being selfish, or it becomes all about them. You know, you run the constant, you run you run the opportunity of not having a relationship with them ever. And you run the opportunity of them disliking you and dismissing you and don't care about you. And, you know, it's really a very unhealthy space to be in on either side. But at some point you got to make a stand, because just like you said, if being with you is unhealthy for me, then I have to remove myself.
Oh yeah. And I'm not going to apologize for it.
Yeah. You can't. You really can't.
I'm not going to apologize for it. I don't owe you an apology for doing what's best for me and mine, because you made your decision. I have to make my decision. It's not a tick for tack thing. It's just that what's healthy and what's not healthy. It's different if you're trying to work to make the situation better. Then you got something to work with. Yeah. But if you're the only one in the ring that's fighting,
right.
Then you know, I'm gonna go ahead and tap out, and I'm gonna go ahead and do what I need to do so I can win on the other side of making sure that I'm good. My whole inside outside is good, so I can be good for those that's going to be connected with me. That's important. Yeah. That's very important.
Yeah. You can drain yourself trying to bring people over to how your ideology. And it's an effort to go over there anyway, but if you got to pull them to be a part of your life, you kind of not want that.
Right. I'm not gonna do tug of war. Those days are over. When I did tug of war, the tug of war didn't work. I sat down with both of my parents to be able to just find out what's going on. And you know, I was blaming myself. That's why I say, don't blame you. Don't do that. Yeah. You know, I waited and moved closer to my mom just to be able to have a better relationship with her. My dad was living like a walking distance from where I was living there when my children were younger. And I sat down and had a conversation with him. And I'm just like, wow, this stuff is still, what is going on? And he moved on, had a whole nother family. Yeah. And so they look at me like, oh, well, again. Yeah. See, he's going to tell you what he want to tell you. Like, she's going to tell you what she want to tell you. But at the end of the day, God knows the truth, and I got to go do what's best for me. People, do what's best for you at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, this is going to be your life. At the end of the day, you're going to have to live with your end result. At the end of the day, is this what you really want your children to be able to experience? At the end of the day, what's your identity? Yeah. What is your identity? Go and do the soul searching for your identity and make it your business to own it. Yes, it's your truth of what happened in your upbringing. But at the end of the day, now go ahead and create your own story.
Yeah. And that is so true. You have to be your own story. I talk about that a lot, because you have to be able to deal with the experiences that have been uncomfortable in your life. And we've all had uncomfortable experiences, and with families.
We broke up.
Okay.
There
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Yeah,
perfect.
We've all had experiences that were uncomfortable, and we have to deal with them. Because if you don't, they will fester. And they will make you sick. They will put dis-ease in your body. They will mess with your emotions. And then that trickles down to your children and your man and your husband. So you have to stop it. I believe when you stop it right there where it's at, you give yourself a head start, that you just don't allow yourself to swim in that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You know? Give yourself permission to heal.
Absolutely. You have to. And you have to heal yourself. You cannot expect somebody else to do it, although it could have been their fault or they're a part of it, but it's not they can't heal themselves. So you can't expect them to heal you, because if they do, they'll do it a different way. So it's incumbent upon us to get in there and clean out that junk that we're given from our families that we don't want anymore, you know? Exactly. So, I mean, you have a passion and you have a mission, you know, Vanessa, and you're the one that's got to carry this, because you have that strength and your inner self to say, look, ladies, whether you're a teen, whether you're middle-aged, or whether you're old, women still suffer through that. And like women, because men have left the household. And when they leave and then back then, a long time ago, men were having kids younger. They didn't know what they were doing, but that is no excuse. Because even if you knew what you were doing, something would have said, oh, he didn't know what he was doing. She didn't know. So make sure Myra's okay. She's not good because he didn't know. That's an excuse. No, it doesn't happen like that. You did what you did, and your children, your daughters are the result of that. And we didn't get a pass because you didn't know. So I'm not willing to give anybody a pass just because you didn't know. I don't care who you are. You're not going to get a pass.
That's right.
Because me giving you a pass, I'm still affected by it. So in the term of that, I can't take on, you have to take that jacket, and I have to work through the baton that you gave me. You handed this to me. These are the cards I was dealt. So I got to figure out, what can I take out? What can I use? How can it become a lesson to me in my life?
Yeah.
More so than a dismissiveness or a deterrent in my life. I can't, even when men, you know, they say, well, I didn't have a father figure. Well, at some point, you got to know you didn't have one. I didn't have a father figure, so I now have to take charge of my life and not use that as an excuse going forward. Yeah. Because then you'll keep using it and keep using it. And I didn't get a job because my father wasn't there. I beat my wife because all of those are excuses at the end of the day. And I believe, you can't continue to want people to excuse you for what you've done. Yeah. You accept it, you don't hate them, but you can't just excuse it. I got to figure out how I'm going to be able to be healthy through this thing, which is so important. So, you know, Vanessa, I'm telling you, your power in what you've been given, that's your baton that the universal God has given you. And that's yours, girl, to run with, because there's too many women, too many Black women. And I just have to say that because I run into them all the time, and their relationships mimic their dads, or not having their dad, or wondering why their dad, you know, because I would say, you know, you got this beautiful, cute little girl in front of you. How could you leave her? Yeah. How could you just walk away from her? And it's not that you hate anybody, but it kind of does something to you to make you wonder why. You know, why me? Why me? And why not? Vanessa?
You know what? And then the crazy part about it that really gets me, you want your child to carry your last name for you to walk away.
Yeah. That's pretty deep.
Did you hear what I said? The father wants, you know what I mean? I want to give the father the last name for you to walk away. Yeah. That makes no sense to me. Yeah. No, that's not fair. So you just want to keep your name going, but then you're not involved in that name. That's an honor for your child to carry your name, regardless if you was married or not. Who are you to be able to not hold true to your responsibility? Yeah. You know, I said that in my very first book. I said I wrote something to my mom. I said, I picked up the baton where you wasn't strong enough to pick it on, and I'm hoping I make you proud. Yeah. She may get it and she may not get it, but I still have to carry this on. Yeah, you have to do it. You have to do it for you and those that you love going forward. And that's a big deal. Well, you know, Vanessa, I tell you, you and the other women are just powerful in what you've been given. And I want you to tell women who are struggling with this, what inspiration or encouragement would you give them? Be okay with moving forward. Be okay with moving forward, meaning be okay with going to get you some healing. Yeah. You know, without their permission. Too often we want their permission, we want their approval, but at the same time, they probably can't give it to us. They just can't. And unfortunate is the truth, but go ahead and give yourself the permission you need to find your true identity, to be able to heal with whatever capacity that's needed for you to be able to heal, to be able to reevaluate those people that you keep on surrounding yourself with that's not in the mindset of healing. They're in the same old frame mind of just being average. Well, you are not meant to be average. If you want to be able to move forward and give you your soul elevated, then do what you need to do and elevate yourself away from average mindset people. Absolutely. Average mindset. It don't matter if it's a family, a friend, a high school friend, a childhood friend. It just does not matter. In order for you to grow and get outside of the stuff that left you in a place of a state of mind where it's so broken, you cannot heal and stand in that. Go and get with some people that's willing to be able to not judge you for moving yourself away from average, from taking yourself outside of the walls that you have been in, the walls that you've been in for so long. To get outside of that Get outside of your comfort zone and be okay with doing your best work by going and doing your best work within. Because it's not the makeup on the outside that makes you beautiful.
No.
It's the inside, because your inside is going to shine on the outside where you don't even need no makeup for people to know that you are beautiful.
Absolutely.
So if that brokenness is up in there, go and get some healing. Sometimes people, when they have broke a toe, they broke a ankle, they have to get, sometimes they got to get surgery. Sometimes they got to just get an air cast. But baby, you go get whatever surgery you need on your inside.
Right.
To get that healing that you need.
Absolutely.
Like truly healing that you need. Because if you don't, you're going to pass this down to your children's children. And then now you're going to look back and say, shoulda, coulda, woulda. No, today is a new day for you to get it right, to move forward unapologetically in doing your best work to find who you are and where you're supposed to be in this world today.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was amazing because you have the opportunity to do it. You just have to muster up the courage to not think that you're offending somebody, because you're trying to find your truth and you're trying to find you, who you are. A lot of times people don't want to venture out and learning about their past, their moms and their dads, because they feel they're going to hurt somebody. But you're hurting. And with you're hurting because you're trying to save face with someone else, but then you're hurting in your own face. So I agree with you. You got to step out. You got to talk to somebody. You got to make it happen for yourself. So Vanessa, give us your social media information for someone that wants to, maybe have you come in and talk to a panel of women, or to get a hold of the book, Dear Dad, and things of that nature.
Well, you could be able to find me at Inspired by Vanessa all over social media. Inspired by Vanessa.
Okay.
On social media, from Facebook to Instagram. That's where you'll find me, to LinkedIn, to Twitter. And then you can find my website at inspiredbyvanessa.com.
Okay. All righty. Well, Vanessa, I enjoy it all the time that we have a conversation. I enjoy your spirit and your passion and your strength in what you're doing, because you give other women that strength too as well. You're a daughter, you're a mom, you're an entrepreneur, you're a businesswoman, you're an author, you're doing some things, and you're on this planet for a reason. So I pray Godspeed with you, and continue your blessings and your prosperity in what you're doing, and enlightening other people, other women, to be their best. So I'm going to have you back, of course, again. And we're going to talk about some of the other books that you're doing, because you're doing something good. And my hashtag is something good to talk about. And what you're doing is something good to talk about, because it's healing somebody. It's helping somebody. So it deserves that tag, something good to talk about. So we will talk soon, Miss Vanessa Canteberry. And I thank you again for being a part of In Hindsight Talk Show with me.
Oh, it's such an honor. I really, really appreciate it.
Good. Thank you so much. Make it a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. God bless.
Okay. God bless. There we are, Miss Vanessa Canterberry, amazing guest, a woman of power and strength, and she don't back down. She has something to say, and it's a great thing to have women to be able to stand up, speak out, and be a part of the conversation of healing. Everybody, men and women, need their own healing in their lives. You need your own journey. You need to be on your journey. And things have happened to us in the past. All of us haven't lived that white glove kind of lifestyle. We've had to deal with some things and some hurt and some pain, and trying to process that has been difficult for a lot of us. But in this book that they're doing called Dear Dad, talking about their different thought processes of their dad, whether their dad is here and they don't have a relationship, whether their dad is on some type of substance abuse, whether their dad just doesn't show up, whether their dad are deceased, it doesn't matter. The fact is that this young girl, this teenager, that daddy's little girl never happened for them, and that can be devastating. So that young girl has to kind of navigate that, or she can say, you know what, I just don't give a care. I don't like him, he don't like me. I don't think it goes that way, but sometimes we can take that jacket on like that. So we're going to have some more of them to come on in Hindsight to talk about their experiences. And without their dad, and how they've come together and how they just haven't, whether it be because of the stepdad, whether it be because of the family on the other side. You know, life throws you what it does, and you have to try to navigate it the best you can. So I hope you enjoyed these colleagues as they came together on In Hindsight Talk Show to talk about where they are. And it's truly something good to talk about. We have to talk about those things that we kind of remissed ourselves in, so that we can break that cycle and open up that door and give people the confidence and encouragement that they need to be a better person. And again, this is Myra McKnight in Hindsight Talk Show, and we always have something good to talk about. You make it a great day. Stay tuned.